They told her she belonged in the kitchen, just like her mother. They laughed at her clothes and mocked her poverty. But they didn't know that while they were memorizing textbooks, she was rewriting the laws of chemistry in her head. This is the story of Maya, the invisible girl who forced the world to see her. Before we begin, if you believe talent comes from everywhere, hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful stories. The smell of Crestwood Academy was a mixture of old mahogany, floor wax, and expensive perfume. For 17-year-old Maya, however, the smell was mostly industrial bleach. Maya didn't attend Crestwood. Not really. She existed in the periphery, a ghost haunting the hallways after the final bell rang. Her mother, Sarah, was the head of the cafeteria staff. Sarah was a woman of immense quiet strength, her hands roughened by years of steel wool and hot water, her back slightly bent from carrying crates of produce that cost more than their weekly grocery bill. Every day after her public school let out, Maya took 2 buses to Crestwood to help her mother finish the shift. While Sarah mopped the floors, Maya sat at the corner table near the kitchen doors, the invisible table, surrounded by stacks of library books and a battered laptop held together by duct tape. "Baby, you don't have to scrub that," Sarah said one rainy Tuesday, watching Maya furiously wipe down a table where a group of seniors had left a sticky mess of energy drinks. "It helps you get out faster, Ma," Maya said, tossing the rag into the bucket. "Besides, I'm thinking." "Thinking about what?" "Polymers," Maya murmured, her eyes losing focus. Specifically, the degradation rate of chitin-based bioplastics compared to petroleum synthetics under high salinity conditions. Sarah smiled, wiping her brow. She didn't understand the science, but she understood the passion. "You and your big words. Just make sure you finish that scholarship essay." "I did," Maya said. "But they don't give scholarships for ideas, Ma. They give them for prototypes. And prototypes cost money." The tension in the room was palpable. The regional science fair was approaching. It was hosted by Crestwood this year because of a massive donation from Arthur Sterling, the CEO of Sterling Dynamics. The winner received a full ride to MIT and a $100,000 research grant. Maya had the idea. She had the math. What she didn't have was the $500 entry fee or the money for materials. Arthur Sterling was a man who believed time was his most expensive asset. He walked through the halls of Crestwood with the headmaster trailing him like a nervous puppy. Sterling was looking for innovation, but mostly he was seeing repetition. "Robotics, again," Sterling sighed, glancing at a student setting up a booth in the gym. "Drone delivery, seen it. AI chatbots, derivative. Our students have access to the best tutors money can buy," the headmaster beamed. "That's the problem," Sterling muttered. "They're buying answers, not finding them." They decided to cut through the cafeteria to inspect the electrical layout for the fair. The cafeteria was empty, save for the staff cleaning up. Sterling paused. He saw a girl, dressed in faded jeans and a hoodie, sketching furiously on the back of a used paper placemat. He watched as she stopped, bit her lip, grabbed a bottle of vinegar and a packet of baking soda from the condiment station, and mixed them in a small glass, timing the reaction with a cracked stopwatch. "Who is that?" Sterling asked. "Oh, that's just the cafeteria woman's daughter," the headmaster said dismissively. "She waits here until her mother's shift ends. I'll have them clear out." "No," Sterling said, raising a hand. "Wait." At that moment, 3 students walked in. Leading them was Brad, the son of a senator, a boy who wore a watch worth more than Sarah's car. He was laughing, holding a half-finished smoothie. "Hey, lunch lady." Brad called out. "You missed a spot." He deliberately tipped the smoothie onto the floor Sarah had just mopped. The purple liquid splattered across the pristine white tiles. Sarah froze. She was tired. Her knees ached. She lowered her head. "I'll get it, sir." "No, Ma." Maya stood up. She didn't yell. She didn't scream. She walked over to the spill. She looked at Brad, her eyes cold and analytical. "Blueberry and kale," Maya said, looking at the mess. "Anthocyanins from the berries. It stains porous tile instantly if the pH isn't neutralized." She turned to the cleaning cart. She didn't grab the mop. She grabbed a bottle of club soda and a specific powder cleanser. She mixed them in her palm and dropped the paste onto the stain. It fizzed violently. "Basic chemistry, Brad," Maya said, her voice calm. "Acid plus base equals salt and water. You just wasted $6 on a smoothie to look like a jerk, and I cleaned it up with 10 cents of baking soda." She wiped the floor clean. The stain was gone. The cafeteria went silent. Brad's face turned crimson. "You think you're smart, trash? You're just the help." "I'm smart enough to know that your AI project is just a code fork from GitHub you didn't write," Maya said, turning back to her table. "I saw your laptop screen yesterday. Brad lunged forward, but the headmaster stepped out from the shadows. That is enough, Mr. Kensington. Brad froze, seeing the billionaire Arthur Sterling standing there. Sterling walked past the fuming boy and approached Maya. He looked at the placemat she was sketching on. It was covered in molecular structures. Chitosan extraction from shellfish waste? Sterling read the scribbles. To create a biodegradable alternative to single-use shrink wrap? Maya looked up, clutching her notebook defensively. Yes. It's fully compostable and water-resistant. That's graduate-level organic chemistry, Sterling said. Where is your lab? Maya laughed, a dry, humorless sound. She gestured to the cafeteria kitchen. Between the deep fryer and the dishwasher, sir. Sterling looked at Sarah, who was watching fearfully, terrified she would lose her job. He looked back at Maya. Why aren't you in the fair? Entry fee is $500, Maya said flatly. And I don't have a sponsor. Sterling pulled a gold pen from his pocket. He reached down and signed the corner of her dirty placemat. You have a sponsor now, Sterling said. Be in the gym on Saturday. 8 a.m. Don't disappoint me. The news spread through Crestwood like a virus. The lunch girl was entering the fair. The mockery was relentless. While other students were 3D printing components and ordering rare earth magnets online, Maya was dumpster diving behind seafood restaurants. We need shrimp shells, Ma, Maya explained that night. Lots of them. For 3 days, their small apartment smelled like a fishing trawler. Sarah didn't complain. She boiled the shells to extract the chitin while Maya worked on the chemical synthesis. They didn't have centrifuges or vacuum ovens. Maya used an old blender and her mother's hairdryer rigged inside a cardboard box to create a drying chamber. It was grueling. Maya slept 3 hours a night. She burned her fingers with acid. She cried when her first batch turned into a useless gray sludge. I can't do this, Maya sobbed at 3 a.m. on Friday. Brad has a laser spectrometer. I have a soup pot. Sarah sat down and took Maya's hands. Maya, look at me. They have money. They have equipment. But they have never had to fix a broken pipe with bubblegum just to have water. They have never had to make a dollar stretch for a week. You have something they don't. You know how to struggle. Innovation isn't about having the best toys. It's about solving problems when you have nothing. Now, get back to that pot. Maya wiped her eyes. She adjusted her variables. She recalculated the molar mass. By Saturday morning, she had it. A thin, translucent sheet of plastic. It was strong, flexible, and smelled faintly of the ocean. The Crestwood Gymnasium was transformed into a technological wonderland. LED screens flashed, drones buzzed overhead, and well-dressed parents mingled with judges. Maya stood in the back corner. Her display board was made of cardboard she had painted white. Her prototype was displayed on a clean cafeteria tray. Brad was 2 booths down. His display was massive, featuring a sleek robot arm and professional graphic design. He smirked at Maya. Nice cardboard. Did you find that in the trash, too? Actually, yes, Maya said, smoothing her blazer, a thrift store find that was slightly too big. Reuse, reduce, recycle. The judges moved through the aisles. They were professors from Ivy League universities and engineers from Sterling Dynamics. They spent 20 minutes at Brad's booth, oohing and ahhing at the robot arm that could pour coffee. When they reached Maya, they paused. They looked at the cardboard. They looked at the cafeteria tray. One judge, a man with thick glasses, sighed. State your name and project. My name is Maya. My project is ocean-derived bioplastics, utilizing seafood waste to eliminate microplastics. She began her presentation. Her voice shook at first, but then the science took over. She didn't speak like a high schooler, she spoke like an engineer. She explained the chemical bonds, the tensile strength testing she had done using hanging weights, and the biodegradation rate. And the cost, the judge asked. Standard plastic costs roughly $1.20 per kilogram to produce, Maya said. My prototype was produced for 40 cents per kilogram using waste materials that restaurants pay to throw away. It's carbon negative. The judges exchanged glances. And you made this, at home. In a kitchen, Maya corrected. Brad, seeing the attention Maya was getting, couldn't handle it. He walked over, feigning interest. Can I see that? Before Maya could stop him, Brad grabbed the sample sheet of plastic. Feels flimsy, he sneered. He pulled it, trying to rip it. It stretched but didn't break. Frustrated, he grabbed a bottle of water from a nearby table. Is it waterproof? Or will it dissolve like your dignity? He poured the water over her prototype and her handwritten notes. The gym went quiet. Sarah, watching from the sidelines in her uniform, gasped. Maya didn't flinch. She watched the water beat up on the plastic and roll off. Hydrophobic properties confirmed, Maya said into the microphone. Thank you for the demonstration, Brad. The crowd rippled with laughter. Brad turned red and stormed off. Arthur Sterling took the stage 2 hours later. The room was silent. I have seen some incredible technology today, Sterling began. I have seen robots that cost $10,000 to build. I have seen software that required supercomputers to code. He paused, looking out at the sea of privileged faces. But science is not about spending money. It is about curiosity. It is about looking at the world and asking, how can I make this better, even when the world tells you to keep your head down? Sterling opened the envelope. 3rd place, for the robotic arm. Brad Kensington. Polite applause. Brad looked furious. He accepted the bronze medal with a scowl. 2nd place. Sarah Jenkins for the solar array. And the winner, Sterling's voice boomed, for a project that not only solves a global pollution crisis but creates an economic model from waste, demonstrating genius-level chemistry in a home kitchen. Maya. For a second, there was silence. Then, the cafeteria staff in the back of the room started cheering. Sarah screamed, tears streaming down her face. Maya walked up the stage, her legs trembling. Sterling handed her the trophy and the giant check for $100,000. He leaned into the microphone. Maya, I'd like to offer you something else. A paid internship at Sterling Dynamics this summer. We need people who know how to clean up messes, not just make them. The video of Maya's win went viral. The cafeteria genius was everywhere. But for Maya, the best moment wasn't the check or the fame. It was the next Monday. She walked into the cafeteria, but not to the invisible table. She walked to the kitchen doors. She handed her mother the resignation letter she had written for her. We're done scrubbing, Ma, Maya said, holding up her MIT acceptance letter. It's time to build. Brad Kensington transferred schools a week later. The rumor was he couldn't handle being outsmarted by the girl who cleaned his lunch table. Maya went on to revolutionize the packaging industry. Her company, Blue Cycle, now employs 300 people. And every year, she sponsors the science fair. But she has one rule, the entry fee is 0, and extra points are given to the kid with the cheapest materials and the biggest ideas. Maya's story reminds us that diamonds are found in the dirt, not in the jewelry store. True genius doesn't need a trust fund, it needs an opportunity. Never judge someone by their station in life. The person serving your coffee might just be the one who saves the world. If this story inspired you, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that their potential is limitless. Thanks for watching.